What is going on, everybody? It's the Bronson. We're here for an NXT review for NXT from July 31st, 2019. NXT, of course, is a week from Saturday away from NXT TakeOver Toronto 2, where Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano in a 3 stages of hell, triple threat for the North American Championship, and Shayna Baszler will finally take on Mia Yim, as it has been confirmed from last night. And a match that I did not expect to see put on TakeOver, but is going to happen on TakeOver. Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, one-on-one. I am excited about that, and I think you should be too. And of course, the tag team champions, the Street Profits, will be taking on the Undisputed Era in what should be another tag team classic. A classic that WWE's main roster couldn't even dream to put on. But before we get to that, we have some unfinished business to take care of, because we had the second semifinal match for the breakout tournament. Now, it was mentioned that the finals will be taking place in the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Probably before TakeOver. It will probably be in the aftermath show, and that will be the Wednesday after TakeOver. So that should be what we look forward to that. Before that, I do want to talk about a little bit what happened last weekend at a house show. Last weekend in a house show, Karen Q was in a match. I believe it was a tag team match, and she ended up breaking her leg. She will be out for a good long while. Had surgery, I believe, yesterday on this injury, and it's not fun to see a superstar getting injured at any way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter if you hate the superstar, you like the superstar, whatever. Anyone getting injured is not fun to see them injured. We've seen so many people go down. Chelsea Green had her first match at a Full Sail taping in a dark match, broke her wrist. Darvin Dajakovic just came back from an injury. Tegan Knox just came back from an injury. Dakota Kai is still out with an injury. Injuries happen, I know, all the time, but it still isn't fun to see somebody getting injured. Of course, Karen Q was in the Mae Young Classic in that match against Xia Li last year, and hasn't really been used on NXT television. I believe it was her first NXT house show loop run that she was on. So good luck and speedy recovery for Karen Q. And let's talk about NXT. NXT opened with Jaxson Ryker versus Tyler Breeze. We also saw Bronson versus Cameron Grimes. And NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler was to respond to Mia Yim's attack on Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir, as well as the main event being Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong before their match with the Velveteen Dream at TakeOver. Tyler Breeze versus Jaxson Ryker. This was Jaxson Ryker. Just the Forgotten Sons tired of hearing about Tyler Breeze, the fact that he's coming back to NXT after all these years and trying to talk about how it was his NXT first before everyone else and how NXT has changed. So this is where this match came from. Jaxson Ryker looked for a choke slam but got rolled up into a victory roll. And of course, that's 1, 2, 3. This would be the first official loss on NXT television for Jaxson Ryker. So Jaxson Ryker himself, no longer undefeated. Tyler Breeze wins. It's not the match that people are going to be talking about. It's what happened after, as the Forgotten Sons, all 3 members, start beating down Tyler Breeze and making him regret having this match with Jaxson Ryker. When the crowd starts going completely wild, no music, and I love this. I love that NXT does this. Not every time somebody comes down to make a hero save or make a save on somebody, you have to have the music playing. It kind of gives away the shock and surprise. If this person's music would have played, I'm like, oh my god, it's this guy. But no, the crowd goes crazy. Jaxson Ryker and the Forgotten Sons are looking up at the ramp. We don't see what's going on TV yet. They switch cameras to the ramp, and it's Fandango taking off his leather jacket, tossing it aside, running to the ring, and fighting the Forgotten Sons off. And Fandango with a hug, and then a double super kick to, I believe, Jaxson Ryker. Or Cutler, I'm sorry. Cutler gets back in the ring, double super kick, they hug, and the music hits. They play Breezango's music, but it's Tyler Breeze fused in with Breezango's. And there you go. So Breezango looks to be a tag team in NXT. And this is interesting because Fandango wasn't a main staple of NXT back in 2014, 15, 16, 17, or 18. So this is his first go on NXT since the network era. If he was there during the pre-network era, that's a different story. But since NXT has been the best brand in WWE, he has never been there. Can we see him? I would like to see Fandango get a new music, new gimmick, new everything. This guy needs a new lease on life. Tyler Breeze's gimmick worked in NXT. It did not work on the main roster. Fandango's gimmick did not work on NXT on the main roster after about a week or so after WrestleMania, because they just blew that completely out of the water. But give this guy a new lease on life. Give Fandango a new name, because Johnny Curtis was his original name. Not a good name back in the day. Comes in, becomes Fandango, and plays a ballroom dancer, and I never believed him. I never believed Johnny Curtis was a ballroom dancer, ever. Like, he just felt like he was pretending to be something he is not. Tyler Breeze, Prince Pretty, you feel like that's who that guy is. You feel like that's what he plays like when he's like that's not a gimmick, that's him. He feels like he's a guy turned up to 11. That is him up to 11. Fandango does not feel like that. He just feels like he's playing a gimmick. Get this guy to figure out what his gimmick is, what his turned up to 11 is, because Fandango really, to me, never felt like that kind of guy that was going to work really well on the main roster. Great to see this guy back. I know he's been out with a bad leg injury. I believe he tore his ACL last year. So great to see him back, and we'll see where these guys go. When the Undisputed Era probably win the titles from the Street Profits, having them move on to Fandango and Breezango overall would probably be great, and I can't wait to see what these guys actually can do. They had little glimmer of hope when SmackDown Live first premiered, and they were both on that show. But after a while, it just fell off the rails, and we never got to see what Fandango and Tyler Breeze could do. So let's see where this goes. Maybe Fandango, after the Aftermath show and everything, comes out and says, "I'm no longer Fandango. This is my name now," and we go from there. Moving on here, they showed us what happened between Candice LeRae and Io Shirai after Shirai was having a match with Kacy Catanzaro. And then we see Candice LeRae outside pacing back and forth because she wants to get her hands on Io Shirai, and rightfully so. Io Shirai tried to end her career after Candice LeRae came down in that cage match to help her try and win the title. So she definitely wants to get her hands on Io Shirai any which way. Cameron Grimes versus Bronson Reed. This match was... Malcolm Bivens, aka Stokely Hathaway, was sitting in the front row for this match. And this match was just... I don't know. This match just didn't do it for me. I don't know what it is, but this entire breakout tournament, it should be the next match after another. Just should be good matches to great matches, and these guys showing what they can do. It feels like the entire breakout tournament had peaked after the first round. The first round is where you had all the stars, all the heavy hitters, all the matches that felt like these were awesome matches. And every single match after that just seems to have just like the tournament has just slid down. Cameron Grimes wins after Bronson Reed has him on the ropes. Bronson Reed bounces off the ropes that Cameron Grimes is on, goes off to the other one. Cameron Grimes runs and hits a leaping double stomp for the 1-2-3. He wins. He'll be facing Jordan Myles at TakeOver, the Aftermath show. We do not know exactly. It has not been announced exactly where. I feel like they're going to have some kind of contract signing next week for the finals. I have no idea. But we do have 1 week left. But also, speaking of next week, there's going to be a special called Prime Target TakeOver next week. It will be an in-depth look at Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano's rivalry going into NXT TakeOver Toronto 2, as this is going to be the third match for these guys. So I'm not going to review that. I'm just going to probably watch it to see what it's like, because if it's an in-depth look, it's not something you can really review unless you're like a movie reviewer. That is not me. So I'll watch it. Maybe I'll have some thoughts of it when we get to NXT review next week. But yeah, Prime Target NXT TakeOver next week. Earlier in the day, they asked Matt Riddle about Killian Dane. Riddle says, to make an impact, why not fight him face to face instead of attacking from behind? Next time you want to attack me, do it to my face, and I'll fight you, bro. and he walks off. He was in, I think, his personal, like his gym or the gym that he goes to. So that match is going to happen next week. Killing Dane, Matt Riddle, that is going to be your main event next week. NXT again showing you how to do main events every single week, and the same guy is not always in the main event. This is something WWE needs to do. I remember for weeks there was Baron Corbin was in the main event every single week. Roman Reigns in the main event every single week in the main event segment or main event match. And you don't need to do that. You need to mix it up. Shayna Baszler comes out, and usually she came out with a purpose, because usually she comes out and she still does her 2 fingers into a spade, into like her little symbol that she does with her fingers. She came out with a purpose. She came down to the ring immediately. She looked like she was on a mission to rip somebody's head off. Because she grabs the mic and says, Mia Yim, you went over there to the announce table and you gave a message, and I got it. Says, you attacked Marina and Jessamine last few weeks, and that was unprofessional. We are professional fighters. This is not about attacking people from behind. This is not the streets. He says Yim has already lost the match because there isn't a back alley or a street. This is the biggest match of her career. That she'll be putting Yim to sleep because street rats don't survive very long in my world. Out comes Mia Yim, sarcastically where her friends are. She asks her, where are your friends? Where's Jessamine Duke? Where's Marina Shafir? Says games recognize game. Baszler can't train for someone like her. Baszler says, under the bright lights, everyone will see Yim as nothing but street trash. And she holds the title up, they talk a little bit more, and she walks to the back. I did notice something about the belt that Shayna Baszler was holding. How long has the women's NXT Women's Championship had Velcro on its strap? Last time I can remember seeing it, it had its snaps like it usually would. So was that a toy championship that she held? And when we get to TakeOver, it'll be the actual snaps. It just looked... The NXT Women's Championship on this night, because it had the Velcro instead of snaps, just felt like it was a generic toy that she was holding. And I don't want the NXT Women's Championship to feel like that. Snaps are what makes the thing look like... And I know the belt looks great and everything, but if you have Velcro on each one of these belts, it kind of makes the belt look like second rate to other belts. It just doesn't have that professional feel if you don't have snaps on it. I've had a replica championship at one time. I had the Smoking Skull title. That had snaps. That felt like it was a professional thing, because I've also, when I was younger, had one that had Velcro on it. And there was a toy one that you got from like Dollar Store or from Walmart. I don't want to see Mia Yim or Shayna Baszler or any woman holding a championship that looks like I could buy at Walmart for about $10. If it's like that's how it's always been, then I haven't been seeing something. But I swear, when Asuka held that title, when Ember Moon held that title, it always had snaps. Just a nitpick there, and something that just like I noticed tonight. Outside we go again, and Candice LeRae is still pacing back and forth, and into the shot comes William Regal. He says, I know why you're here, but you're not going to be you're not going to be able to find what you're looking for, because he already told Io Shirai she can't be anywhere near the building tonight. She said, fine, if I can't get my hands on here tonight, how about a match at TakeOver? Regal says, you know, I can see why you're angry, and rightfully so. So at NXT TakeOver Toronto, it will be Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae in not a street fight, but in a match at TakeOver. And I have been calling for this for a while. I mean, we have 3 men's championships and 1 women's championship in NXT and in NXT UK, just saying. And I have been calling for, because we've always have 5 matches. We'll always have 5 matches. And I've always wanted to say that not every TakeOver, but I would like to see at least 1 TakeOver, or at least 1 or 2 a year, have 2 matches featuring the women. 1 for the championship and 1 not for the championship. And I get my wish this time, because we get to see Io Shirai and Candice LeRae on top of Mia Yim and Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. So the women actually get to have a little bit more time on NXT TakeOver to shine. Because, like I said, you get 4 matches for the men to shine, and you get 1 match for the women to shine. So instead of only having 2 women in this show to shine, you have 4 in 2 different matches. I think that's great. And hopefully we'll see that at War Games. Like TakeOver Tampa Bay, which is Tampa next year, I can see why they do it like that. TakeOver wherever they're at in January, which I don't know where that's at this year, that's fine too, I guess. But since this is TakeOver Toronto, it is great to see that they're going to have a second women's match for this. Speaking of contract signings, they are going to have a contract signing next week with the Street Profits and the Undisputed Era. Will we get a stipulation in this match? I'm not sure. We did have a ladder match at TakeOver 25, so that stipulation is out of the books. Roderick Strong versus Pete Dunne. These guys it felt like half the show. Half the entire show felt like it was dedicated to this match, and rightfully so. These guys could be NXT TakeOver worthy themselves in a North American or NXT Championship or UK Championship match on any single day. This was a great match. These guys, it probably wasn't the best showing for the two, but it was still a great main event worthy match. These two know how to beat the living piss out of each other. I would not want to take a backbreaker from Roderick Strong. I would not want to take finger snaps or any joint manipulation from Pete Dunne. I would like these two, if I was a professional wrestler, would probably be the last two I'd want to be in a professional wrestling ring. Triangle submission, roll on top, snap of the fingers, twisting arm, Roderick Strong eventually taps out. Pete Dunne is your winner of this match. I cannot justify this match, talking about this match, trying to go over this entire match. You got to check this match out. Post-match though, Pete Dunne celebrating. Velveteen Dream sneaks into the ring, gets his title, looks like he's ready to beat or attack Pete Dunne with it. Pete Dunne turns around, Dream's like, oh, nothing, man. Just puts his title on his shoulder and just smiles. Strong is on the apron. He says, hey, look, at TakeOver, it's not going to matter. That's my title. Drops down, walks away. Dream throws his arms out like he usually does, twirls around. Pete Dunne grabs Dream and just snaps the fingers. Dream, and then gives Dream the bitter end. So Pete Dunne has the momentum going into TakeOver. I say this is going to be Pete Dunne not winning. This is WWE, and yes, it is NXT, but this is WWE, and we do know that NXT, it's still WWE's formula. Somebody has as much momentum as Pete Dunne has, it just shows that this guy is probably going to end up taking the pinfall loss or the submission loss by the end of the show. Very, very good episode of NXT. Next week, of course, is the final go-home show before we get to TakeOver. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter and twitch.tv/The France Club. Make sure to check out my gaming channel, The France Plays, where I'm playing through Call of Duty World War II. And I'll see you guys Saturday for Unscripted, and was Tuesday, I believe, for Monday Night Raw, Wednesday for SmackDown Live, and Thursday again for NXT. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.